welcome back. In today's video we're covering a lot of topics, so let's go ahead and get started with the first and most important topic out there. You may have heard through some of the internet sources that the Golden Gate Model Railroaders Club in California is having some issues. Now this club is one of the first clubs I came to visit when I was a young model railroader, young into model railroading about 4 years ago. The club is in its own sort of area, and the museum that's kind of in charge of the club, or basically takes rent from the club, is undergoing a massive renovation. But here's where the problem is. This massive renovation the museum plans to do is causing the club to need to move out all of their layout, and their layout is huge. So it would take hundreds of man hours. It would never be able to be rebuilt. They just spent time installing a DCC system on the layout, time and money. So they consulted with some architects and found out that there's code exemptions that can be pursued. And not only are these code exemptions something that can be pursued, but they're pretty common code exemptions, so that the layout doesn't have to be moved because of some of the issues. They want to get the renovations done and don't really care that they have to move the layout. So with that said, I'm trying to get everybody to go ahead and go over to ggmrc.org. I'll put the link below, both in the video and the description, so you can easily copy and paste or click on the link to get over there. And on the page, the very first thing you will see at the top of the page is some links to contact elected officials in the area, and also a link to sign a petition. Now the petition's growing a bit. I both signed the petition and contacted every elected official on their list. Even though I don't live in California any longer, I thought it was something I should do because they need our help in order to better have a chance to be able to keep this model railroad layout alive. It's a majestic layout. It's a really nice layout. They help get kids into model railroading and things like that. They have Engineer for the Day programs and all these different programs for kids. They really do a lot for the hobby, so now as hobbyists it's time for us to do something for them. Even if we've never been to the layout or don't live in the area, please be sure to check them out. Now let's talk about some other issues. I get questions all the time on what's going on the layout. As I've mentioned before, there's not a whole lot going on the layout because I'm prepping for a move in a very short amount of time, within a year or so. So I'm not going to do any more renovations to the layout. But people ask different questions about the layout, and I want to go ahead and respond to those. So one of those questions is, what is under the layout? So I'm going to take a second to show you what's under the layout in just one portion, and you can get an idea of what most of the layout has under it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So here we are at the main area of the layout where the DCC systems are, and as we kind of look over the peak, you can see what's going on under most of these modules. Actually, all of the modules have boxes under them. Now these boxes are stacked pretty high. Like these modules are 2 feet by 4 feet and about 5 feet tall, 4 3/4 feet tall. So there's a lot of boxes all the way around the layout. But that's where I keep the boxes at. That's what's going on under the layout. I'm just going to give you a little peek. I'm not going to show you all the boxes. But it gives you an idea. Now I did clear a lot of the boxes off these shelves. I had some on the shelves before. I cleared that out. You guys have seen these signs before. These are tin signs. These are some larger ones, but they're offered by rebelrails.com. His information is right here. I'll grab his card so you can check it out because a lot of people ask me about that. But rebelrails.com, and there's some phone numbers as well listed there. So he provides these signs at train shows for purchase, and also the signs along my layout. These are 6x6 railroad heralds. A lot of people ask me where I get them. That is where. So the next question people are going to ask is, why so many boxes? What's the purpose of boxes? For people that are new into the hobby, you should know that keeping your boxes will increase the value of your rolling stock and locomotives significantly. I've done kind of a quick study. I actually did it for a class on my master's degree in business administration, but basically from what I could find in the study I did online, keeping your boxes saves somewhere around 60% of the value for your locomotives and rolling stock. So for example, if you have a box with a locomotive or a locomotive with its box, and you get the full, you know, $200 out of it, where if it doesn't have its box, you could lose 60% off that. So it's a pretty significant amount you could lose. So that's what I found, around 40 to 60% of the value is lost when you toss the boxes. So if you can keep them, and you know, they take up a lot of space, trust me, they're all under this layout, but they help keep the value, because no, model railroading is not an investment by any means. But would you rather lose a little bit or a lot if you ever have to sell your stuff, or if you just want to sell your stuff to trade it in for other cool stuff? Now, while we're looking at the layout, I do want to show you one other thing, and that is these Walthers Trinity hoppers. So these things are just, I don't know, they're like some sort of drug for me lately. I decided to go all in and purchase every one that Walthers produced in the last run and on this run of the 64-foot, I believe, Trinity hopper. So these have different road names and things like that, from GPRE, ADM, Verasun Energy, the North American Ethanol, all the way around. But I've got a collection of 36 total. One of them is an Atlas as a stand-in, because I am missing one ADM. So if you guys see an ADM Walthers hopper, hit me up. So some of these are harder to find than others, like that corn hopper, and these green ones here that are North American Ethanol. And then lately I noticed that the Badger State, which are way over there, those 3 Badger State ethanols are getting harder to find. Things like that, but I was able to find 35 pretty quickly within the last couple weeks. So these hoppers, they're a little heavy, but we'll have a full detail later. As you can see, I've got 3 beefy beefcake engines pulling them, 2 MTH SD70 ACEs, and an Athearn ES44 AC pulling this, just to get it to move around a very flat layout, because these hoppers are a little too heavy. But I'll cover more details on that in the full review later on. Alright, let's go ahead and return to a stationary position so you don't get seasick, and wrap this video up. So I know after seeing all the Walthers hoppers together, you're going to want to see a run-by. I've already gotten several requests to see a run-by of these hoppers, but I'm going to hold off until I do the Walthers review of these Trinity hoppers, which will be a couple weeks. The reason why is we've got some other reviews in the queue, including some Exactrail products that I'm going to break up into a couple videos, showing several pieces of rolling stock in each video. Then we'll get to the hopper review. We've also got some other products coming in from Athearn. Now Athearn's got this huge May shipment coming in, but there's only a few things I was interested in and actually pre-ordered through Brian Marsh at overlandhobbies.com. Those items are 3 sets of 5-pack coal hoppers and 6 total hoppers, 3 bay hoppers. Basically 3 are Iowa Interstate, 3 are the Potash Corporation hoppers. So I ordered those. I don't know if we'll be reviewing those yet. It's going to depend on time, but they are on order and they will be in May according to Athearn's website. So that's all product that's coming in between that shipment and these Walthers hoppers. I've plussed up my rolling stock about 60 items just in the last couple of weeks. 60 pieces of rolling stock. It's kind of nuts to think about. Just in the last couple of weeks I've added to this layout and added to the collection, or whatever you want to call it. Now this year I am focused more on rolling stock. Next year I'll be focused more on rolling stock. There's lots of locomotives I have pre-ordered, but they keep on shifting and shifting back into the fall of this year. I've got several Intermountain locomotives ordered. I've got several Athearn locomotives ordered. MTH items I plan on purchasing. So lots of locomotives that will be coming in, but it looks like it's all getting pushed to August and further out into December. One other thing I want to mention to you guys before I let you go is, if you hadn't seen, Walthers announced the E9 set, the executive set that actually runs with Union Pacific on their excursions with the executives and things like that, the bigwigs of the railroad. And they've announced more cars. So I've pre-ordered all of the Walthers E9s through Overland Hobbies, and all of the cars, all of the passenger cars. Now, I reordered the 6 passenger cars I already have, which include Willie James, City of Los Angeles, City of San Francisco, and some other ones. I've reordered those because Walthers is now doing the new run with window gaskets. Now, those are little silver, I think. They tell me silver. I thought they were black, but they're saying silver gaskets that go around the edges that are going to be visibly different from the previous run. So I've reordered all these Walthers UP passenger cars, and we'll have a review for those later on too, but we're talking into 2015 before those are out. That's all that's going on with me, guys. It's nice to talk to you guys in between. We've got more giveaways, more reviews, more trips coming up, so be sure to stay tuned. As always, please make sure you're going to go out to the Golden Gate Model Railroad Club's website. Again, that is ggmrc.org, so be sure to check them out there. And be sure to sign the petition, contact the local leadership, elected leaders, to voice your concerns about making these poor guys move. Because if they move, they cannot return. They're not going to be able to spend the man hours. I mean, this layout was built over years, possibly even decades. I'm not sure of the statistics behind it, but it's something they've already publicly stated they cannot go back and rebuild, or are even willing to go back and rebuild, or have the time or money or anything necessary to build something of that scale and that massive amount of space. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.